Well, good evening, everybody. Making this recording after our Alexander Williams family reunion for 2022. Um, this is the presentation that I had technical difficulties with, and I apologize for that. But hopefully, I'll make a short video and cover the topics I intended to cover, and this will be a record to review back on if you need uh, to remember all the tips that I tried to convey to you last Saturday. And the, uh, the the slide here you're used to seeing on our Facebook page. The thing I want to focus on today is the fact that Alexander Williams had two wives, Elizabeth Gill, who he married first, and then Elizabeth Dack, who made the journey to um, Utah later in 1850. The original trip was made in 1847, and the wagon train that you see there is fairly typical. It's not an actual picture of Alexander Williams and Isabella, but they certainly made the journey in that sort of an environment. And then Elizabeth Dack showed up in Utah at a later time, and they produced two different families. The one on the left, I'll call the Gill family, and the one on the right, the Dack family. So everyone that's attending the reunion falls into one group. And one of my first goals is to find out which group that you fall in, because uh, the uh, the main thing I'm focused on right now is DNA research and using the DNA to establish which all of the people in the tree. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later as we continue on. But hopefully, I won't uh, get any phone calls or anything like that right in the middle of this. But here's the agenda. I want to kind of let y'all know what's been going on since our last gathering, what I've been doing. Of course, we had a 2-year COVID outage during which time I didn't get a lot done. To be perfectly frank, the last time we gathered, I was in 2019, where I showed some video from a trip I made to Montana, and that video is available online. Um, but we haven't done anything in 2 years, and the probably the main reason I haven't made much progress is I kind of ran out of material to help me on the actual population of the family tree. What's happened since that time is the DNA um, uh, processing has really ramped up. A lot of people have registered their DNA with Ancestry, and one of the things I hope to point out today is that DNA is a great tool for helping me settle issues with the tree, missing people, just inconsistencies that I find. Nothing tells the truth like DNA. And even though it doesn't tell you everything, you'd be surprised how useful it is. So um, I've been working on the DNA part and gathering as much data as I can to work on the tree. What tools am I using? Well, I'm using FamilySearch.org, which is familiar to a lot of you. It's the LDS sanctioned uh, genealogy service that you can access online. It it's free to use. Um, the uniqueness about Family Search as compared to the others is that in Family Search there is one big tree that everybody works on. So So it's all about refining this gigantic tree of all these families, and what you're doing is participating in that. Now there is a way to load up individual trees, but you can't merge that data in with the large tree. You can and like in my case, I've loaded up my Williams-Doubledee tree, and it's available for other researchers to use and to draw from. And for those of you who use Family Search, that's what I would think would be very useful for you. The next thing is findagrave.com. I'm going to show examples of some of this briefly, but there's a lot of information in Find a Grave. It's now owned by Ancestry.com, and it's integrated so that they seamlessly go between the two sites for you to fetch information and save it in your tree. Of course, Ancestry Find a Grave is free. Ancestry.com is one of the items, the tools I'm using that does cost. It does the DNA analysis for me and manages my tree. But even though there are license fees, there are ways that I can share my access to Ancestry to anyone by email address. So if you've got an email address, I can sign you up to access my tree, and therefore you should be able to access everything in my tree without paying a license fee of any kind. Um, Now, my tree includes, the genealogy part, but it also includes documents, sources, like census information, all the good stuff and I'll show you a little demo on the Android phone in a later part of the demo. Um, Next, I use OneDrive, which you've probably used before if you've looked at some of my videos and things. My photos I store on OneDrive. It's also a free service from Microsoft. It's a cloud storage application, and again, it's seamlessly integrated with YouTube and Facebook and all those other things that I use. YouTube is where I'll be putting this video and all future videos. Um, and of course, Facebook will always be there as a way for us to collaborate and communicate, and for me to announce new videos and new information. I'll be publishing stories on Facebook, so it's still going to be a big part of the tooling that we use together as a family to share. Um, and what tools can you use? Well, again, you can use any of these tools. And like I said before, Ancestry is the only thing that costs to use. Yeah, you pretty much have to have a laptop for some of these things in order to fully get the value. But most everything here also has an app for your Apple phone or your Android phone. So I'm gonna do my best to give you a small demo of what that might look like to use. The rest of the agenda, I'm gonna uh, briefly go over the will of Thomas Gill Sr. We had a lot of discussion at the family reunion at the restaurant. We talked about it quite a bit, and I posted it on Facebook, and quite a few people took a look at it and made some comments. I'll just show it quickly because I've made some modifications to it, and those changes will be available in this video for you to look at. And also, I'm going to finish up with a demonstration of the Ancestry app on my phone, because I want you to be sure and use Ancestry even if you don't have a laptop, because you can do everything on Ancestry that you can do from a laptop, like research and view all the data that's out there for you to access. Okay, so this is a screenshot from familysearch.org. Um, It's a very interesting grid, and here at it's called a fan chart, which is a different way of looking at your family tree than you're probably used to. It's if you go on Family Search, all it takes is an email address to get on there. You give them your email address, and then you access your family tree, and this is what it shows you. Uh, eh, Here I've chosen to place myself at the center. Um, and on this side of the fan, as you can see, are all the ancestors of Loyal, my father, and everybody on the right side are ancestors of my mother. And as you go up the layers, you can notice that my grandparents are Lester and Fern Morrison, and of course, you see their parents in the next layer going across here. And as you can see, we in this particular view of the fan chart, it takes you all the way out to the parents of Alexander. There's Alexander here, and here's Alexander's parents, and here is more people going up the tree. And again, this chart is interactive in that you can click on this person here and go directly to that person's record and browse the detail about that person. Or you can click on this symbol here and place William uh, Thomas James, this particular relative, at the beginning, and then again, this only shows ancestors. It doesn't show descendants. But it's a very useful chart, free for you to use on FamilySearch.org. This is a screenshot from findagrave.com, and trying to move I can't get myself out of the way. Uh, this is a screenshot of the information you'll find on Find a Grave, free of charge. Uh, it's got a cemetery index where you can go in and search for cemeteries by state, and then search the content of the cemetery, and find this kinds of information. Varies by person, but you can link this record. This is actually looking at Find a Grave from Ancestry.com. And then you can integrate all this information directly into your tree directly from Find a Grave. It's my number one go-to source for information about a particular individual. I go here first, assume all of this is correct because this is coming right off the gravestone and right off the records that are available to the cemetery. So I kind of take that as a baseline, and then this information obviously could be wrong, but I check it out. It's a good starting place. It's much better than starting with information that you might have picked up online, especially about, in this case, Richard Ross. And here's what it looks like in Ancestry.com after I pull that information in. You probably noticed that it had some information about uh, parentage and descendants, and that information comes right over into my Ancestry.com, and uh, it also brings over information about that might be pertinent to your search, like census information, Social Security applications, so forth and so on. So as far as a research tool, it's marvelous. It's a must-have. Findagrave.com. Of course, this is an alternate view of the fan chart that you saw earlier on Family Search. This is available on my laptop for Ancestry.com, And much like the fan chart, I can control which person in my tree happens to be at the beginning of the tree, building up to my ancestors. My siblings and my descendants are also in the tree. You're seeing my view, which is showing living persons, which if I share my tree with you, you won't be able to necessarily see living persons. So the number one rule in Ancestry.com is the person has to be deceased before that information is visible to the public. Of course, you can set your tree up on Ancestry to be totally private, but then it sets up roadblocks to people who are searching information about that are related to you, that are trying to find information about your family. So I set up everything as public. So everything that you see here is publicly accessible to anyone, except about the living people that are in my particular tree. But as you can see here, my parents, their parents, and then as they go all the way up back 4 generations. Um, the one thing I wanted to point out here was this symbol right here means that this particular person has been verified through DNA. So Ancestry has an algorithm that it uses, and it takes my DNA and let's say a DNA from a cousin on my mother's side, and even though her mother didn't submit DNA, this cousin of my mom matches my DNA to the point where Ancestry can say that Nellie Doubledee or Isaac Alonzo George are definitely related to me through the DNA. So it's a way to confidently say that even way back in these older generations, that these people are verified through DNA to be related to me, and have a certain. It doesn't guarantee that the information within the record is necessarily valid, but it does say that someone named Edward Doubleday is definitely related to me in terms of his name, his date of birth and death, and there are people. I've got tens of thousands of matches of DNA online, and there are some of those matches that are related to me through Edward Doubleday, and all the way to me directly. So it's extremely wonderful to have DNA information in terms of squaring your tree, or squaring your tree up, and which I've been able to do thanks to DNA. So again, I'm pitching to you to get your DNA test and spit in the tube and mail it in. Register it on Ancestry. If you need help, I'll be glad to help you, and that will help me fill out any missing people in those branches of my tree that you belong to. And in the end, I'm going to share that data back with you, and in the end, it's going to be a win-win for us. Okay, OneDrive. Here's a screenshot from OneDrive. It's my repository for where I store most everything. Uh, I store information in Ancestry in anything external, let's say, that I have. I store on OneDrive, and it can contain files of any type, and it's like a storage in the cloud application. It's free to use, and you'll notice that I have stuff stored there, and you will be accessing it there if you choose. But I'll make a video in the future that it drills down a little bit into what you can do with these applications on your cell phone and your laptop, and we'll keep you informed about how much value these add to yours and my journey. Okay, so another a tool that I use is YouTube. Um, I'm posting all of my videos like this one that I'm making today on the Williams-Doubledee Genealogy YouTube channel. Here are 4 videos that you've probably already seen that I've posted up out there. And after today, you will see 5, including this current video. So I'll leave, I'll post a link in the on Facebook on how you can come here to YouTube and to watch the videos that you're interested in. I'm trying to keep future videos down to 30 minutes or less. So bear with me. Some of these are kind of long, like the original Williams reunion in 1983 was quite long. But I'm going to edit and make short versions of these and narrate them and have lots of fun with what can be done with YouTube. It's fabulous. Okay, so here we're looking at the Alexander Family Reunion Facebook page, which you should all be familiar with. This is where this is your home for information, announcements, uh, like new videos, new interesting topics, and you're free to comment and communicate on the Facebook page. Okay, so let's get back to the topic of the of what I wanted to ask you for in this particular presentation. Um, the 2 families I talked about originally, the Alexander and Elizabeth Dack family and the Alexander and Elizabeth Gill family, uh, traditionally have come to this reunion. I think that we're down to attendance only from this side of the family, but I want to make sure. So I'm reaching out to everybody on Facebook. If you would tell me your lineage to Alexander through one of these, one of the 2 of 5 Alexander wives, I would appreciate it, and it will help me provide the information that's of most interest to the group. And here's some DNA information that shows you sort of how I use that lineage information that you're going to give to me. Um, Here is the through lines, which is a DNA analysis that is generated by Ancestry.com for me, given the fact they've got my DNA and they've got literally, in my case, tens of thousands of matches for me. This this gives me the number of DNA matches that literally relate these people up through certain members of the family all the way to Alexander Williams. And as you can see here, I'm not going to read it off to you, but through the uh, uh, Gill family, these are half the siblings, and you can see how many matches, and I can drill down on these matches and actually drill down to individuals who get mailed in their test to Ancestry, and I can actually reach out to these people and have a conversation through Ancestry.com. And here are the siblings that represent the uh, Dack family and and the relationship to Alexander. And you can see that the number of DNA matches is quite a bit fewer than on the other side of the family. Uh, I've got just a handful, and 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 I think if I could get more people to contribute their DNA from our particular uh, family reunion, that that it would bring in many more matches. And I implore you to do that. Give me a call or send me an email, and I'll help you with the process of getting your DNA taken and registered if you need the help. Okay, so at the dinner at the reunion, we covered the information about Thomas Gill, who is the mother. I'm sorry, is the father of Alexander's other wife. Uh, the the I'm gonna just talk over showing you each page of the will. I'll let you read it later. Remember, you can pause this as you watch the video on YouTube and go ahead and read it. And I'd like your reaction to this. We had a great reaction to it at the actual meeting last Saturday. I think it tugged at my heart. Um, it is a testament to the political and the social feelings about slavery back in as early as 1830, 40, which is the time that Alexander is moving about the country. Um, this this gentleman represents Alexander Williams' father-in-law, and it's very interesting. As you can see here, that Isabella Williams is called out. She's at the time he wrote this will, she had already married Alexander, and they were probably somewhere in Illinois at the time he wrote this will in 1834. So give me your thoughts about this in the comments. Um, Notice it gave me information that I did not have before. All of the siblings of Isabella are here. The women have their are listed by their married names: Shane, Golson, Allen, Dokes. Or I'm sorry, it's actually Noakes. I've made corrections in parentheses when the will was actually incorrect. So very interesting stuff in this will. I thought I could move my picture frame out of there, but unfortunately, you'll have to figure out what's behind my smiling face. Um, Actually, it's posted on Facebook anyway. So let me know what you think about that. So what I'd like to do now is quickly show you what it's going to be kind of difficult. I didn't anticipate moving my picture up here would cause trouble with the blocking of the view. But some of these uh, uh, some of these slides, I took screenshots and put them in the presentation. But uh, um, again, here's that fan view, and I was just going to show you how interactive it is. It's going to make me sign in, which will make you sign in just with an email address. And if I want to slide this over, I can slide this around. And as you can see here, I can go into the chart and colorize it by birthplace, which gives you an idea of where these people were born. So if you're doing work on uh, uh, which people were born in Ireland, this is a good way to get that information. Um, you can find out particular people who have uh, source material or stories or photos attached with them, and this gives you it. It shows you that I found a lot of information about I found over 10 pieces of what are classified as photos for William Dack when I was when I was recently out there messing around. So um, this has lots of options here to make using it easy. You can control how many generations you go back, and you can even get descendant information in there depending on what you have in the tree that you're looking for. Uh, Again, the pedigree view that I showed you a while ago is a way you can drill down into to the uh, the heart of ancestry.com. So, like I was telling you, the DNA, I can drill in here and then go to through lines for Alexander Williams, and you'll basically see pretty much what you saw in on the screenshot in the presentation. It's just here I can drill down and show you who is providing the DNA that this is talking about here. So I know precisely which people are are in my tree, and it gives me more information even about living people. It doesn't reveal who they are, but it reveals who the donor of the DNA is and provides specific information about how much of my DNA matches and what kind of DNA it is. I can compare the two. Travis Troyer and I can compare his DNA with mine side by side, and to see what content, how much Irish blood he has, for example. But this is kind of the jumping off place into reviewing reviewing that type of information. And here's the kind of thing you can see. This tells you how it knows, how Ancestry knows he's a second cousin as compared to a first cousin. But you can drill down much more deeply than I'm really wanting to get into today. Um, just wanted to quickly show you that uh, how many matches I have in some of my other families. Here's Alexander. I got 141 matches that tie me to him, and I got 18 matches that tie me to his wife, Elizabeth Dack. Now, this chart only shows um, uh, your direct relatives. So everybody on this chart going back 5 generations for me, is it 5 or 6? 5, yeah. Every ancestor that I have going back 5 generations are shown in this tree, and I can get to them like I was showing you before, and drill down to see who they are through this interface. Now I can even see that these people, since they got dotted lines around them, are not in my tree yet. So I can actually add these people to my tree, and off of a blood relatives tree that I'm hoping is going to be a pretty close match to the information that's real, that's accurate and correct. I talked about the genealogy, and I talked about the OneDrive. The one thing I need to show you still is the phone interface. Everything I've been showing you is obviously on the on the laptop, and I know that not everybody has a laptop, but this is my cell phone, and um, this is the Ancestry app on my cell phone. And there are several things that you can look at. There's a discovery tab that basically keeps track of what you're researching, It helps you pick up where you left off. It also gives you updates on your DNA, and uh, just helps you uh, use the tool the way I use the laptop. Most of you are going to be interested in the tree view. Unfortunately, it doesn't have the fan view like Family Research does, but it does have this kind of a tree where you can go in and go up to your relative, go back in time, and you can go all the way back, of course, to the to as far back in the tree as it extends. And you can, as you can see, I've got lots of information available for you today using your cell phone, so you can go in and take a look at what I have what I have put together for Stephen Williams. You can read his life story. You can take a look at his marriages, and I'm not navigating too well on this emulator, but this is, use your finger instead of a mouse to scroll through all this detailed information. You'll be able to look at all the stories, and you'll be able to look at all the photos and all the notes that have been captured for that individual, and be able to do it based on the tree. It even shows you the location of the people in your tree. So you can actually drill down to find out these two people that appear to be in Alaska or passed through Alaska at some point. You got access to the full search tool, so you can search for birth certificates and any kind of relevant source information for whoever you like. Uh, it's got a section in here that covers your DNA. So once you get your DNA there, a test done, and you send it into Ancestry, you'll be able to use this app to look at your um, ancestry, just like I'm looking at mine, and you'll be able to see who you match up with, uh, and you'll be able to actually see the not only your the specifics of your DNA, but you'll also be able to see who you match to. So this particular section is giving me a list of people that are related to me, and uh, Ancestry's best calculation for what kind of a relationship we have, and how many people are available in this person's tree that I can click on this link and research to find out exactly who this person is. In some cases, Ancestry will tell me this person is related to you through Elizabeth Dack, Jane Dack Williams. I mean, it'll come right out and say that, because it's just laid the trees beside each other and figured that out. So hopefully this quick presentation has given you a little food for thought. Um, it's lightweight entertainment, and it's fun. It has everything at your fingertips. You carry it in your pocket, your purse, and I hope you enjoy it. And we are coming on 40 minutes, and that's a long video, so I'm going to cut it off at this point and post it out on YouTube. I'll put I'll post the announcement on Facebook, and then you can click that link and go directly into YouTube to watch this video. Um, so long for now. I we'll begin working on the next video immediately with some stories and information that I've recently found out about the Irish branches of our family, the Dak family, especially going back to Ireland, and I'll be posting that soon. So keep in touch, uh, get used to these tools, and we're all in this together. Let's have a good time doing it. See you next time.